Come back home. This is where you belong. Wachana mambo ya huko Dubai. Dubai is just, Dubai. In the meantime, I got two guests in the house, the awesome twosome, who are coming in to talk about everything from the cabinet lists, of which they were openly excluded, to this swearing in tomorrow, to what's happening around town, around the country. David Osiany, political analyst. Gabriel Muthuma, also political analyst. Guys, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Osiany.
Good to see you, Jeff.
You're so dressed up, nice tie, nice rose.
I've always been for the last more than 15 years.
So you're not trying to impress the president
No. The president would read of my credentials and offer me the job. By the way, I have beef, chicken, and bacon with that president. There's no CS who is a youth in that cabinet.
By the way,
I take offense.
Who's the CS for youth?
Okay, of course, youth falls under public service and gender, which has been given to Margaret Kobia, a wonderful woman, by the way.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
A great performer. But why give her the youth?
But
docket?
she's not youth.
No, come on. There's
Why
a lady,
give her the
there's
youth docket?
Well, when you talk about what?
CS.
Yeah.
Come on,
Public
guys.
service, youth, and gender falls under Margaret Kobia.
Correct.
Well, but you have some very nice PSs.
No,
I know.
answer that first question, Gabriel. I mean, for youth, one would want, maybe if it was youth in sports,
That would make sense.
that would make sense.
Yeah. Thing is, Jeff, I mean, I know we can talk about being youth or not being youth, but
Yeah.
I think what comes to mind at this point is the delivery. I mean, look at that combination. Great, serious people, very mature. Very mature. To me, that's all that matters, service delivery. And I know, I mean, if you look at some of the PSs, that you still have Lillian Omolo out there. I mean, great.
Osiany, are you happy with the list?
No, I think the least.
Just say it, let it
the
come
least fell short of my expectations in some regard, and I think the president. It seemed to me as though it were a hurried thing. They reading the action of the president, reading it, and then flying out to the AU summit in Ethiopia. I didn't see the deputy president, which brought a lot of questions. But the list itself has questions, quite a bit of questions. It fell short, but there are wonderful human beings that have made it to that list. I have a public policy background, and one of the biggest names in public reforms and the public service leadership is Margaret Kobia.
Yep.
That lady has been huge. You read her papers, she is a deep woman. Not your shallow MBA studying university students of nowadays who you will ask questions and have nothing to tell you.
Right.
I am also extremely happy, and I intimated on this very show last time that Monica Juma would definitely become.
Yes, you
a
did.
CEO
You called that one. You
for
called that one.
affairs.
And by the way, speaking of that,
Yeah.
Amina Mohammed being reassigned to education,
Yeah.
those are big shoes to fill.
Those are big shoes
Those
to fill.
big shoes to fill.
People may think that it's a demotion for Amina. Of course, it looks that way.
Yeah.
Because globally, people who have been secretaries, cabinet secretaries for foreign affairs, are the ones who have ascended to leadership of those countries. Let's start with our neighboring Uganda, whether you look at Benjamin Mkapa or you look at Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, those were foreign affairs. Look at Boris Johnson in the UK. When he couldn't become the prime minister, he was given the next most lucrative thing. But remember that Amina Mohammed's budget is one of the biggest budgets in the country. She runs a budget now in education of 320 billion.
Yes, correct. Indeed.
Which is
So,
almost 10 times
Yeah.
what was her previous budget. However, she loses that international appeal and loses the connection. She loses. It seems as though the president has lost trust in her as his face to the outside
Well,
world.
I don't think.
What is it?
I would call it. It's losing trust.
What is it, Gabriel?
Remember, these two women were in the same ministry. I mean, Monica Juma and Amina Mohammed.
Yeah.
And they worked very closely.
Really? I thought they didn't get along.
No, not really. I mean, that's the hype.
Gabriel, I thought they
That's the
didn't
hype
get
we get.
along.
No, come on, man. It's like, Jeff. Do you know you will, even you yourself, you would have a problem when you're choosing between two good people. I mean, when you're choosing between two idiots, I mean, you don't need any intelligence. I mean,
You don't need to choose after
you don't
all.
Exactly. When you're choosing between two idiots, I mean, it's
Gabriel,
because either way, there's going to be pain.
Amina
But when
was the face when you saw at the UN, at the AU, wherever it was that beautiful brains, beauty and brains, if you will.
It was. But now, let us see what Monica will do.
Who's
And
very
we've been
smart,
told-
by the way.
Exactly.
Very
And we've been
experienced.
told- and some people have actually alluded to the fact that, actually it was Monica who was bringing the whole clamor out at the Foreign Affairs Minister. You see, the foundation was well, Jeff. And, half of the time what we don't see is what's happening on the background. So could she have been the one, running stuff out there? We never know. But, I agree with Osiany when he says, Amina goes to a very big portfolio right now. And you still have, the shoes that you're talking about, Matiangi's, they're going to take a long time to do. But again, who are the people, who are the supporting staff? When you have people like Professor Magoha at the Education Ministry, and the PSs who are actually going to be working with her, you can tell that's a serious element of
But
delivery.
Gabriel, what about dealing with cartels in the education ministry, dealing with all these unions that literally paralyze the education ministry? Is she going to be able to handle that?
Now that's something we need to talk about, because Matiangi had really done well to ensure these cartels were actually put on the back burner.
Yeah.
And by the way, you remember about the books? Me, I thought that was the biggest cartel I ever saw. A textbook here is going retailing for about 700. In Kigali, the same textbook retailing for about 150 shillings.
Same textbook.
Same textbook. So here you're coming to a place where even headmasters, were cartels. Some headmasters were cartels in themselves. And when they knew the money, the tap is almost getting closed, we
dry.
started seeing schools burning here and there. So I think I don't want to play it down that Amina is taking a portfolio that has serious issues. But again, she's a very good policy maker. She knows how to put things into play. But I'm really counting on her support staff.
Yeah.
I'm really counting on her support staff.
I think Amina is a tough woman.
Yeah.
So she may not have a problem really trying to enforce some of the things Matiangi had started and sustaining some of those reforms.
So you have no problem with her?
But that again will really test Matiangi's style of leadership. Whether the reforms in the education sector were really institutionalized or they were personality based, so that when the person shifts, they shift with him. Okay? We had the great Mishuki, who was a wonderful human being. He stepped into any ministry. He went into environment ministry that's been given to Keriako when it was nothing. It was not anything to write home about.
Correct.
And made it massive. Nairobi River remains a testament of his great job. When he was in transport, he was the only guy who was able to tame the Matatu sector.
Correct.
That no one can dare touch because it's a massive cartel. So Amina is a tough lady. Of course, you've started hearing things fly out. Oh, where's your degree? Did you go to UON? There's stuff like that. She's in education sector. There are people who will try to undermine her. But again, because it takes guts to be a woman and rise to the apex.
Yeah.
It takes something.
Absolutely.
And that something is what she has been able to, to muscle up and have work for her.
Yeah. But not only
That
Amina,
said,
David.
that
I think
said-
the women in that cabinet.
No.
All of them are.
The women are good. Farida
also
has been here. I know Farida.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to have a hard time at the Ministry of Lands.
It's a tough portfolio.
That place is crazy. But again, she too is a tough woman when she chooses to
Tough
be.
woman.
Whether she will work with Muraguri well is my question, because Muraguri has this proximity to State House that he becomes defiant sometimes to his bosses like he did with Mailu. But that's for us to see. But Monica Juma, I think, is going to be very great.
Okay, guys.
Monica
Okay,
is-
let's mention this one, and this was a surprise. Rachel Omamo.
Well, I actually think Parliament should return Rachel Omamo home.
No.
I am going to be
Osiany.
I'm going to be as real.
John, let
as
him
it
talk.
gets.
No, Gabriel, wait. Let him talk.
And it's not because I want to be CS defense. It's just because I think that Rachel has hugely underperformed. You don't hear about her. She has no policy direction, no luster, nothing.
Maybe that's how the military prefers it.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. That's where I was heading to. You see, have you heard any generals complain?
No.
Where would you hear them
Listen,
complain? You think
you
they come?
see-
Generals
you see-
walk to TV to complain? Come
If they
on.
have their commander in chief, they would have just gone to the president and said, "You know what?
Yeah.
Give
Then
us
how would
another
you know
CS.
they have complained?
Give us another CS." If they would have complained, the president is only human to listen. And He is a commander-in-chief.
So what
the
you're
first thing
saying
he would
is,
do
as long as the military has
they are
someone who
okay.
doesn't
They are
rock
okay
their
with
boat,
Rachel.
get
Exactly.
involved.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Who
are
leaves them
okay
their
with
space.
Rachel. And then when you talk about a CS who's just formulating policy and, they are just able to let people work. I mean, our generals have been doing a great,
but
hell of a
Gabriel,
job. And
defense ministers past.
Yes.
Those were powerful ministers, man. Powerful.
they were, but really, look at it, Jeff. What have we not been able to attain? What have we not done?
What have we done?
What have
We
we are
haven't-
still in
No,
Somalia.
what have we done?
We are still in
We're
Somalia.
about to pull out. Did you hear the talk in the AU? They want to pull out.
Well, but they won't pull out just
Not
immediately.
en masse, but
Yeah, yeah.
there's plans. Okay.
And
if
there
it-
has been. Those plans has been there
If
since.
it was me,
Yeah.
move DOD.
I concur.
Relocate DOD
I
From where to
concur.
where?
out of town.
Completely.
Yeah, well, I
You don't
think-
need a
yeah, yeah.
military
I
inside the
agree,
city.
I agree,
How do
I
you
agree.
do that?
Look at that 30, 40 acres over there, man.
And then you
Just-
tell me policy.
listen,
I think for
listen.
Rachel Omamo, it was just the president conflicted because this is his friend
That's
of
it.
many years
it got nothing to
before
do with that.
before they
It got
rose to the
nothing-
limelight. This is it, Gabriel.
Osiany,
Gabriel.
you're talking like we're in a conflict. We're
Osiany,
not.
Osiany knows this, man. It's his friend. It's his friend.
Yeah.
Dixon's
Mr.
government is
President,
right.
you need to send some folk here. Please send some folk in here. There's some people actionalizing things here. But anyways, but you see, you need somebody who the generals can be comfortable with. I was just thinking, what if somebody like, and this is just my own view, what if somebody like Karangi would come in there? You see, Karangi is coming with the element of military in it, the bulldozing kind of.
Yes, with his background and experience.
And I can trust, I can bet you on that there's going to be conflict.
Okay,
Because you need to
El
know-
Ade, Osiany El Ade, the way the government responded to that, or that ministry, that was not. That was
My friend,
she was
let me
criticized
tell you,
endlessly.
you guys are going too far. Al-Shabaab just killed Maria El Mawi, a PS in this country.
PS.
True.
Under the leadership of Rachel Omamo, she should have resigned because she is effectively working together with the military to be in charge of our borders.
Yeah.
When the Al-Shabaab can gain entry into the nation and kill a PS under that security,
Is that interior or defense?
no,
No,
who allows?
see-
Who allows?
come on.
Hang on a minute. Who protects our territory?
Who's,
who protects
who's
our
guarding the
borders?
borders?
You see, Osiany.
Who guards the borders? No,
Osiany,
who?
and you should-
If
and you
there
should
is,
know-
if there is
and you should
perforated
know,
border,
in the world we are living in, the issue is not having a blanket near zero. You're talking about limiting, bringing down the casualties. Even the great US of A can still be infiltrated. So the best we can do, Jeff, is to ensure that we limit the casualties as much as
But
possible.
responsibility has to
It has
fall
it
on
has
somebody.
responsibility. It has. But if we are going to do this every time there's an attack, we fire somebody. Every time there's an attack, we fire somebody. I mean, we've had very good 5 years, apart from the Westgate. Since the Westgate, I mean, we've
Garissa
had it.
University.
We've had it.
what are you talking about?
Gabriel.
What are you talking about,
After-
Gabriel? Where do you
Don't
live?
say 5
Have
years.
you just arrived from
You
Pluto?
know, you guys. Why don't you just let me finish?
Finish.
No, you
Finish yourself.
By the way, did you
Jimalize.
why you Mashameji Dabi? Because you still have that vibe. just forget, we are on we are on morning talk show radio. No, relax. No, we've gone through a phase, Jeff, where Westgate, Garissa University, the policemen who were killed, I think, somewhere in the Rift Valley.
El Ade.
El Ade. Those were serious casualties.
Serious.
But we were coming from a crazy place where bombs were actually in matatus. You remember that time? So this issue of every time wanting to pin things down, let us appreciate how far we've come. And I think if we are to get to a place where we can honestly speak and talk about our borders are safe, then we'll be happy about it. But
Okay,
at
so
this point,
you're comfortable with Rachel Omamo's reappointment?
it's not me, it's where she is serving. People are comfortable with her.
No, I
Yeah,
hope
but-
I hope Parliament really looks into that, because I also don't think Parliament wants to be a rubber stamping center for the president. They must be able to tell the president, come on, sir, take this back.
Yeah.
Of course, as it were, it seems to me as though William Ruto did not really have his way with this cabinet.
No.
It seems the president is focused on doing his things his way this time.
And everything was handwritten.
And you see,
Handwritten so it doesn't leak.
yeah. So that's
That says a lot.
something- Because look at the recent conflict in Rift Valley. You had a Tyrion who was the chair of the Agriculture Committee. being told you have to relinquish that position. And William went for them with Alfred Keter, you must relinquish those positions because there's no way the CS for agriculture is going to be from Nandi and the chair for the committee is from Nandi. That's like having two ministers. Now, the same Willie Bett who was here is now the ambassador to India. Which means, and it's been taken over by Mwangi Kiunjuri, whose loyalty is to Uhuru and not to Ruto. It seems to me there's much lost out. You have energy, for example, that petroleum has been hived off.
That's right.
And given to Munyes, who takes over petroleum and mining.
Who's from Turkana.
Where Nanok is seen to be a Ruto ally. So at the height of these 5 years, when petroleum is going to be the biggest deal, when we're going to start proper, excavation and processing, you will have an Uhuru man at the helm. One would say that petroleum accounts for just about 1.5 billion of the budget allocated to petroleum as a subunit of the former energy, but it generates more than 50 billion shillings. From transport costs, fuel transportation costs, and levies. It's massive.
Huge.
And then you go to labor, which has NSSF, which is a milking cow. Everyone would want to have something to control. The way politics works in Africa is that because the leaders are often corrupt, they would want to really have something they can milk, which was under William Ruto because it first belonged to Kazongo Kambi. Then he gave it to Dan Kazongo of ODM. Now, you have Ukur Yatani, whose loyalty is to Uhuru Kenyatta because the man who competed against Ukur Yatani was Ruto's guy. And Ruto campaigned for that gentleman who is now governor for Marsabit.
Right.
Now you have Ukur Yatani as the CS Labour. That again slashes down William Ruto's feet. So when you lose such big portfolios, because, agriculture
was huge.
Is massive. It has 26 semi-autonomous government agencies. Wow. It's massive. But then it also looks very clear that Uhuru Kenyatta has decided who is going to run his Big Four agenda, which is James Macharia, which is Mwangi Kiunjuri, which is Edan Mohammed, and Cicely Karaoke. Right. Now, one would argue that, Mr. President, must these four be run by the people who speak your mother tongue, except Edan Mohammed? Those are questions that are to be asked. Yeah. But it seems he has then decided that I am going to pick the people I trust to deliver my mandate and my legacy.
Because he needs this legacy thing.
Let me tell how this strategy is working. And that's why I'm still wondering, you're still talking about Ruto and Uhuru. What they've tried to do, if you look at Jubilee, they've tried to ensure that the issue of just pointing this is Ruto's man and this is Uhuru's man is no longer there. And that's why, you can shake your head, but what I'm telling you is that is what they've done. That's their strategy. Because what Ruto said yesterday was, at the end of the day, we are looking at about service delivery. That's it. Have we done that which we promised? And so you will see as if Deputy William Ruto has taken a back seat. That's not what he's done. The idea here, Jeff, learning from the people I've been able to interact with, is if they are able to see through and through a legacy that Uhuru leaves and it lands on DP Ruto, he'll be able to run with it towards 2022. And that will be a game changer if it's able to work that way. And I know it will. The issue of our political mindset is we are still demarcating, this is Ruto's guys, this is Uhuru's cronies. That will not work this time round. Because what they've done is that we have a balloon here. And we are going to have it rise, holding everybody. Look at the ministries that Osiany is talking about. What you may not know is that you saw 4 cabinet secretaries going to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. What that tells you is that these 4 ministries have marinated. Very few people will know that. When you look at tourism, when you look at ICT and internal security, when you look at infrastructure, the 3 are working in tandem. So that is the strategy that Jubilee has. That towards 2022, all these ministries, you may think they are independent, but they have an element where they're coming.
So you're saying that's why you're seeing Balala Matiang'i and Macharia all the time at the airport and whatever.
Yes, and that's why. Look at Matiang'i. Every time he was, even his last interview, you did with him, Matiang'i and Joe Mucheru, people are like, why? What's the ICT minister doing there? education has been filtered with ICT. Very few people can tell you.
Gentlemen, what do you think of the new positions of Chief Administrative Secretary, the CAS, which translates to Assistant Minister? I think, Osiany, do you think it's Assistant Minister? Is that what it is?
It is Assistant Minister looking, but may not be. And I think, you know, in some way, look at Ababu Namwamba, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I had hoped that Ababu Namwamba would be CS for his experience. As someone who's been Secretary General for a party.
Yeah.
Of course, Rashid Achesa, who's my friend, was the chair of the Orange Young Democrats League.
Yes.
But if you look at Rashid vis-a-vis Ababu, for example, I know Rashid is Washiali's man and Washiali is Uhuru's man, and I mean Ruto's man. But if you look at the two in terms of who has it,
Yeah.
it was a big joke. Besides, in law, the president is not allowed to create any position within public service.
He's not.
He's not allowed. He can create as many as he wants in his office. So he can decide this is the advisor on sports and culture. This is instead of calling them chief administrative secretaries. That is the prerogative, the sole mandate of the Public Service Commission.
But he announced, he says, I'm now creating a new position.
And he said he had actually spoken to the public service. What the guy has done is that he doesn't want to go out of the parentheses of the law. And so
He
it
has.
is not
He has
constitutional.
already.
You may say it does not have any constitutional bearing, those CAS positions, but let me tell you, they are not illegal. It's already
So Osiany, if they...
I think they are somewhere.
Gabriel,
between-
if Osiany is appointed a CAS, you think he'll take it?
Oh, this guy, you won't see him. You see the time. Oh man, I wish his name was.
I will tell him.
I mean, they
I will
sound,
tell
they
him.
look good. They sound good.
Yeah.
Honestly, Osiany, I'd like to have one of those.
Let's-
Me and you, imagine me and you
As
Yeah.
CASs.
Oh man,
This will be a fight without end. Now, it's not about whether or not the people should take them. I mean, what Uhuru has done, he's done what he did with the police appointments, which were illegal until he was told they have to go through the Police Service Commission.
only these 10
Right.
round.
Right.
Only
Yeah.
these- that one I understood. The 10,000 policemen. I
No.
understood that.
The
That's what
recent
you're talking
appointments of police heads, the firing of Muhoro and replacing the rest.
was
It
the
was
name
done. It was done outside the law that the Police Service Commission had to rectify it by calling for, application, because it's the prerogative. It was then of the National Police Service Commission, as it is now. Any creation of a new unit within the public service sector
Has to go through.
must be initiated by
Yeah.
the Public Service.